told you all not to take it too seriously. I'm really happy y'all took my advice so well. Thank you. That was sarcasm. Anyways, this meeting could not, maybe have some fire with the confirmations, but it could not possibly rival last year's sex tape meeting. That was by far the most bizarre thing I have ever saw. No matter what, just you could go home saying it definitely could be worse, and I can attest to that. Regarding the dear God, some things just can't be unremembered. It is great that y'all are really debating these judges because, in my opinion, the judiciary should not be separate from the legislature. That goes against democracy. That is not how it goes in America. Once again, I think that these are some qualified candidates, seriously, and no, I have like a minute and something left. So thank you for interrupting me. And so I do think they are qualified, and if y'all want to be stupid, then that is totally.
Go move on past the judges.
Well, I'm a student, so I can have my opinion heard here. I'm not a senator. So I do not have the right to debate because I do not have speaking privileges, so I shall make my point here. Then I shall end saying that I wanted a parliamentary system with the Constitution. That would have been really fun because we could have had political parties. Oh wait, we already are having those formed. Oh, that's awkward. All right, Jacob.
Yeah. Go finally, David, okay, David, 2.5 minutes at half.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So, I've come before you a number of times before, first for a little Q&A, and of course last week for confirmation for Associate Justice. And I'm not going to tell you how to vote or what to do, but on the emphasis on the philosophy of it. I love democracy, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think among all the branches of SGA, Senate has the most weight because it's the most directly related to student opinion. You senators are voted in every year, and you have the responsibility of worrying about individual people, and I know you talk to individual people about individual problems and issues. And for that, I really respect it. And so what I have to say is, one of my heroes as a scientist was Nicholas Copernicus, and the thing that was so special about him was because he had this great theory about the Platonic solids having to do with the orbits of the planets around the sun. And after looking over some very precise research, it was found that his ideas were 100% wrong. And the reason I admire him is because he preferred the truth to his most cherished illusions. And with that, I'll just say that when I applied to be an Associate Justice through the application process with Jeff, I didn't sign up for an easy solution or to become an Associate Justice in any kind of easy way. I signed up for it to be fair and to have a fair shot among other qualified applicants to serve. So I encourage you to put everything aside except for what's best for the university, what's best for the people that you represent, and know that whatever you decide, I'll be happy with it, because whether it takes a day or 100 years, I want to serve this university. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, and then finally, Senator Esparza. Okay, great. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Senator Buckley, I apologize.
Always overlooked and whatnot.
I thought that was your question originally.
What? No, I just wanted to go ahead and correct all of you on something. Howdy.
Howdy.
I wanted to correct every single person in this room on something that has been going wrong for a very, very long time within student government and student senate. The proper way to ask for a ring tap is the person asking for a ring tap would go, ring tap, and then everyone else would finish it out. That's how you do it. That's how you do it ring tap old Army way. Let's not get on New Army. New Army makes middle management. Old Army makes CEOs. So get with it. Get with the program and ring tap. Thank you. That was beautiful.
4 years of Senate meetings, and I'm still learning something. Senator Womack.
Howdy, Mark Womack. I just wanted to encourage everyone. It turns out those awful people in South Carolina are done cheating, and the Vote for College Game Day commercial is back. Does everyone know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, that's back on the line, so please encourage your constituents. Nebraska is currently probably cheating, and therefore in first place, with A&M close behind, so please do that. Also, 40 minutes. Let's move. Thanks, David.
Okay, with that, we'll move into organizational forum. And first up, do we have? Okay, here's what we're going to do, folks. So we don't have the projectors working yet. I'm going to give Chief Justice Rowe my laptop with his presentation going, and he will tell. Do what? Oh, you've got it. Okay, great. And he will tell you when to hit next slide. We've sent it out to you, so if you want to follow along his presentation, you can pull it up and follow the slides when he tells you to. And so this is J-Court Organizational Forum, 5 minutes.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Because 5 minutes got to move fast, please try to find someone to look along with behind your phone. This is high quality presentation. The Constitution and you, next slide. Quote, good stuff. I received over the weekend anonymous messages from people on Facebook who have been talking about the process, and people who have been raising complaints, and people who have not brought these complaints to me or anything else. So I figured that the fairest way to respond is to use those, and I can respond here because I've been given no other opportunity. So, next slide. I've done my best to make the revote as painless as possible. Just vote no on everything and you're good. I would ask that you at least bear with me before you decide how you're going to vote on this. Everything in black is from the message, everything in blue is my response. Next slide. Constitution stuff, you can read that. But the point is, Jeff Pickering is the president for the 64th session of Student Senate. He is appointing these justices in the 64th session of the Student Senate.
Yes, hold on a second, sorry. State your point.
Oh, no, that's not the point I'm raising.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry. I apologize.
Okay, so at any rate, he's not appointing them in the 65th session. This section right here does not apply. Moving on. Article 4, section, yes, okay, there's more stuff. Court appointed in the 64th session would not go into effect until the beginning of 65th session. This provision does not say when a court has to be confirmed. Next slide. Article 2, etc. If appointed justices in the 64th session remain on court until court expires at the end of the 65th session, at which point the justices would automatically roll over into seats in the 65th session. We'll talk about that more later. Next section, section 2.1, that does exist. Can't say anything about that. Next, the justices who currently serve on the court do not leave office until May 1st, 2012, which is the end of the 64th session. That is true. I have no problem with that. No new justices can be appointed until the old justices leave, or you have had 2 justices occupying the same seat. That's not true. We have 2 separate systems. We have the 64th, and then we have the J-Court that will move on in perpetuity forever after that. We talked about that earlier. Confirmation does not have to happen in the 65th session. It can happen in the 64th. Thus, any appointment made before May 1st would have to be an appointment in the next session. No, just explain that. Okay, the power to make appointments for the next session accrue to SPP John Claybrook immediately. That's true. These appointments are not being made in the next session. We can move on from that. It can basically be summarized that Jeff can do this because shut up. I disagree with that interpretation. Also, Ben Rowe, Chief Justice, who heard the case, has been heavily involved in the appointment process. I have been called out a couple of times about impartiality with no one actually coming to talk to me to explain. So here's how it worked. Jeff said he was going to appoint these justices. He said, hey, you're the Chief Justice, maybe you know what we should look like, what we should look for people on J-Court. And I said, that's probably a good idea. So I did sit in on the interview process, I sat through on the application process, I did all that. The people who were on the court who heard the actual case were people who were going to be, who had no idea if they were going to be picked or not. These people included people who were going to be invited back and people who were not going to be invited back. I have been on the record multiple times, you can ask anybody, saying that I wanted the same court back again. So if anything, I should have been biased in the other direction, not this direction. Moving on.
2 minutes.
It will be brought up tomorrow that we can't go all summer without a court. That's not true. Constitution says the court can't exist. But what it does say is you have to have it in the fall. And if you reject these people tonight, you will notice in the 65th there are no judicial court appointments. So for the first week and a half of the fall semester, you will not have a judicial court. Next slide.
pesky Constitution, governing structure of student government. Associated Texas A&M shall have 3 branches. You will not have 3 branches. Next slide. Let's stand strong and oppose this unprecedented and clearly unconstitutional power grab. Well, my question is, whose power grab? It's not mine. I'm graduating in 7 days, so I'm out of here, and I don't plan on micromanaging the J-Court after I move on. Shockingly enough, I think I have better things to do. Is it just Jeff, the student body president, for like 20 more minutes? I don't really think that's his power grab. It's certainly not John's power grab because he doesn't care either way. The 2 SVPs agreed on the process. John Claybrook didn't raise a complaint, so the only question is which session of Senate gets to confirm these people. That's the real argument, so if we can sidestep all the other arguments, that'd be great. Okay, next slide. Deep breath for me. That's good. Okay, next slide. Checks and balances. Let's talk about checks and balances. This process has been in dispute for over a month. There have been plenty of ways to resolve this. The best way to resolve it is a constitutional amendment to clear up any confusion. If you don't do this, you have another system, and that's the court. And that's what happened. It got kicked down the road until we made a decision. As you will note, you should be warned, though, if you let the court decide, they may not agree with you. That could be an issue that you might want to work out. Next slide. The court decided the case. The process has been legitimized and the only legal way available. Let's talk about some definitions. Definition of confirm. Support a person or a position. That is the question that you are tasked with tonight. You're not tasked with anything else. You either support these people for the position or you don't. If you don't support them for the position, that's fine, but let's talk about that. It's not about the process. The process has been legitimized in the only way it could have been legitimized. So let's not hide behind that tonight. And finally, a good quote about greatness of Senate things. When the Senate ceases to engage nominees in meaningful discussion, the confirmation process takes on an air of futility and farce, and the Senate becomes incapable of either properly evaluating nominees or appropriately educating the public. Thank you.
All right, and that was time, so great. Thank you. If you will, we'll take a few questions. Yeah. Okay, Chair Bowen.
Scott Owen, College of Engineering. My question is simple, and I think it gets at the heart of this whole case. How can the student body president make an appointment for someone who doesn't take office until he leaves office?
Rephrase.
Okay. How can the student body president make an appointment for someone who does not take office until he leaves office?
So here's, the Constitution doesn't say when the judicial court has to be confirmed. It simply just doesn't say it. If you want to, this is the one-time situation where the current judge just simply ceases to exist, and another one has to come in and fill the spot. This is the only time that will ever happen. And because of that, you don't want to run into the opportunity where there is no J. I mean, maybe you guys do. That would be probably great for you, but I don't like that idea. So the idea is that you can appoint these people the end of 64th, and they do not take effect into the 65th. I mean, that's the only explanation I have for you. The Constitution doesn't specify when they have to be confirmed. We decided that it would be best if they were confirmed in this session. That's how the judicial court ruling came down. That's my answer.
So, brief follow-up?
Yeah.
So is there a single part of the Constitution that supports your position? And if so, why wasn't it cited in the original judicial process?
Right, and that is on me. I could have done a much better job. I didn't realize this was going to be the most contentious court case that we had after the whole election season and all that good stuff. I figured this would be kind of a simple fix, and no one would really, judicial court has never been a problem in any history time that I can remember. So that's on me. That's why I came and gave this presentation tonight, to try to sum everything up a little bit better for everybody. Specifically, it's what the Constitution doesn't mention. That's the issue. It doesn't mention when they have to be confirmed. It doesn't tell us these things, and that leaves the room for misinterpretation or disagreement. And that's why we came in and said that it would, according to how it's written, it most logically follows in this direction.
So another follow-up?
No, I'm sorry. We'll come back to you if we have time.
Thank you.
Senator Womack.
Howdy, Mark Womack off campus. My question is actually, it kind of follows right along with that. Is the J-Court charged to solve disagreements, and does that not fall under this purview?
That's how I like to view it. If you're asking, yes, that's what it was. It was a disagreement, and everyone came to J-Court and said, here you go. Here's our two arguments. We decided on which argument was best and made most sense. I think that's what you're asking. The Constitution says judicial power vested with judicial court. Just like 8 seconds to believe that.
Senator Heath. Senator Gnu.
Senator Gnu, to you. Well, in the process that's going on, will John be able to appoint any justices? So next year, this time, will he appoint justices future one, or is the future appointment going to 6?
Right, and that's I'm saying is this won't happen again, because whenever a seat becomes vacant in the future, we're already...
Wait till that stops so I can hear.
Oh, yeah, just, there you go.
Withdraw.
Okay. So the confusing thing about this is you have 9 seats of J-Court right now for the 64th, and you have 9 seats for the 65th, right? After tonight, the 64th goes away forever, and this J-Court doesn't follow with Senate sessions. The people on there are on there in perpetuity until they gradually kicked out, whatever it is. So whenever a vacancy comes up in the term of someone's presidency, they will fill that spot, because that's how it's written in the Constitution, is when it pops up there.
Okay, Senator Hutchinson.
Justice Rose, do you plan on the call Cambridge Ballway?
I like to think so.
Just wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our last recognition will be back to Chair Bowen.
So I've asked several times, and I have cited several constitutional articles that support my position, and can you cite a single one that supports yours?
Everything you have cited that I have in front of me, you've cited them, but the court and myself disagree with your interpretation of it. So everything you cite, I can cite as well in support of my argument. We just disagree on the interpretation, and that's fine. Except the buck stops somewhere, and in our system, it's such a judicial court.
Alrighty, with that, thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. And next up for organizational forum, 5 minutes, SVP Pickering.
Well, howdy. Howdy.
Executive report for this purpose.
Howdy.
But is that a continue, Jeff?
Thanks, Tanner. All right. Let me begin by saying that when the new Constitution passed, and we were looking through all the new, responsibilities that came along with that, when I first read through it, I just assumed that it would be for the next session. Hold on, I'm passing this out right now. I just assumed it would be for the next session. And Robert, as my special advisor, sort of my internal interpreter of the Constitution, agreed, and he thought it was that way as well. But then others on my cabinet said, no, I think that I think the outgoing session of student government is supposed to appoint this inaugural court, because there are vacancies right now. In the same way that we have elections to fill seats in the 65th session of Student Senate when there is still a 64th session. You are not sitting in 2 seats because those are 2 different things. In the same way that we had an election for a new student body president, new Yale leaders, new everybody, even when there are ones currently serving. You're getting ready for the next crew and for the next year. And so a few people on my cabinet, and then a few different senators as well, Speaker Wilson, a few others, also thought that, oh no, this is the outgoing responsibility of yours to appoint and senators to confirm. So we moved forward with the process. And then Chair Bowen brought up some concerns to our attention. It began with, I interpret the Constitution differently. I thought, okay, well, when you interpret the Constitution differently, you take it to J-Court, and that's where you're supposed to figure this out. That's what happens. Or bring up a constitutional amendment. And I realized we were kind of crunched on time, so the amendment didn't happen in the 64th. So that was the first thing that was brought up. And so we were waiting for a court case to be filed to determine this. A court case wasn't filed, and then it's brought up about why we couldn't confirm them because the whole 1 week thing, so then we pushed it back. And so all these reasons kept being brought up about why we can't bring them, why we can't bring them, why we can't bring them. And then finally, because there was all this confusion, Chair Smith filed a court case. And so we went to it. And I got to be honest, I was on a Friday morning. It's coming to the end of my time. I was really hoping it would go the other way. Because if I could wipe my hands and move out of my office and just go on my internship, finish my papers, take my tests, all that kind of stuff, that would be better. But it didn't. And so let me begin by saying I've done a lot of thinking over this week. Because since last week, I was really, really frustrated. You all, for lack of a better term, pissed me off. Because I didn't think that confirmation was the right place to bring a different interpretation of the Constitution and not confirm these qualified individuals.
Okay, point of order. He's now spoken on behalf of the confirmation candidate. So
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. What did he say
He said these qualified individuals pointed to these candidates. That is it.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. Sit down. I'm overruling your objection.
So let me continue by saying it frustrated me. But after thinking this week, I was wrong to be upset. I was wrong. Chair Bowen, Chair McNutt, Senator Struble, Senator Mandry, we had a conversation about this. Senator Jessup, all those who disagreed with me, I was wrong to be mad at you, and I apologize about that. And as student body president and as leader of Student Government Association, I think the best way for us to move forward in a whole is to clear up these parts of the Constitution. Because there are things, because there are obvious different interpretations. The court said one thing and a few of you are saying a different thing, and that's okay. There are checks and balances. So the best way to do this, and if I could now have Robert and Ryan pass out, we wrote an amendment, and as you'll see, it says SB 65, Scott Bowen, Speaker of the Senate, John Claybrook, Student Body President, and this is to clear up these issues that we are still arguing tonight with this confirmation process. So this is an amendment, and if you're in the 65th session, I hope that you put your name on this. All it needs is somebody to say, yes, I'm going to sponsor this. I hope you put your name on this so that this is cleared up. And so with that, I will say that the only way that I want to move forward tonight is to move forward in what's legal based on our rules. If you disagree, then get this passed in the 65th. But when there are different interpretations, what you have to do is move forward in the legal manner. And the legal manner tonight, based on the court case that was heard, whether you like it or not, and this is me not liking it as well, whether we like it or not, that is the correct thing. So I did bring forward, and I won't use the C word, but I did bring forward my nominee, so obviously you can know how I feel about them if I nominated them. And I'm bringing them forward to you tonight because that's what I have been told to do. That is my constitutional responsibility. And it is your constitutional responsibility, according to the J Court, tonight to vote on whether or not these individuals are qualified and fit to serve as associate justices on the judicial court. That's how we move forward tonight. How we move forward as a whole is to, one, realize that I should not have been frustrated with you, and if you're the same boat with me, I hope that you'll accept my apology on that. And in the next session, to clear up these murky parts of the Constitution, because there are different interpretations. So we can do both, and the best way for us to move forward is legally. And so that's considering these people, whether or not they're qualified and fit to serve, and it is convincing somebody in the 65th to run with this amendment and clear up these different murky parts of the Constitution. Because there are disagreements, and that's okay. Amendments are the way to do it. So we're going out of office tonight, but I'm hoping to give you a jump start to clear this up, because there is a disagreement, and I see that. And I'm sorry for trying to blaze past that. I'm hoping that this can sort of bring SGA together here at the end and start next session off in a more clear front. And with that, Mr. Speaker, are there any questions?
Yes, and before we go to questions, I'll explain to the body real quick my ruling. I didn't want to interrupt his momentum there by explaining, but calling someone qualified is a courtesy, and it's been done multiple times tonight. Raising an objection over common manners in an effort to silence a branch will not be tolerated. So, with that being said, we'll take questions. First up, Senator Esparza.
Chris Esparza, what is this clear up?
Well, if you look in, basically there's two different, where the interpretations break down, and I can't speak for those that see a different point of view than the J Court's ruled on, but where it seems that those broke down is under the Article 2, Section 2, Subsection B, which, by the way, is not under J Court, but under exec section, which said, but the power of appointment for the incoming session of Student Senate shall accrue to the Student Body President. So when it just left it power of appointment, people had different interpretations of, well, what all appointments do those qualify for. So what makes the most sense is to say power of appointments only to the executive branch. So that's for top staff, that's for executive cabinet. That's why that section is there. For example, what I bring up is if a university committee appointment came up in between the time that a new SVP and a new Senate is elected in joint session, that's our responsibility to appoint and confirm those people for UConn. It's the same for the vacancies that currently exist in this now no correlation to a session Student Senate. So we just cleared up that for these appointments only apply to the executive branch, so that that new student body president can bring forward appointments for his or her cabinet. Then if you also look at what it enacted to in those different sections, it basically clears up the process at which seats have to be vacated. Because right now, if one of them just dropped off the face of the earth, there's nothing in the Constitution that decides how they're supposed to go about vacating a seat. So this says that they would have to let the student body president know within a month of the time that they were leaving, so that, for example, when they graduate, when our justices graduate, within a month before they graduate, they let the student body president know there's a new appointments process. The new Senate goes ahead and fills that seat, so that on the day that student graduates, they are immediately filled with a new justice. In the same way that tonight, when we walk out, your seats and my seat will be filled by new student leaders as well. So that's what we hope to clear up.
Okay, we're going to try to, please don't use all 6 if we don't need to, but Senator Jessup.
One question for Lawrence. You said a month before the justice graduates, that's when this whole process, the process for reappointment starts?
Yeah, we said a month before their final class day of their semester. So I guess it actually wouldn't be graduation, it'd be their final class day. Or just out of courtesy, if you're saying, hey, I can't serve next semester, let us know at least a month, so that the 1 week rule for y'all's bylaws, and it gives whoever is the student president enough time to go through that application process.
Very brief follow-up?
Yeah, very brief.
Okay. Is there a way that that could be extended, so in case there is some controversy with the appointment, that there's not a pressure for look, you have to appoint me, and we're not going to have a justice just because?
Yeah, sure, no, absolutely. Like I said, we're just bringing this forward. If you or somebody else wants to try to get this past the 65th, you can absolutely extend that. We're just wanting to jumpstart and put some clarity in a situation where we did have a disagreement. So, yeah, absolutely. I think 1 month is good, but 2 months could be better. So, but yeah, it's just to clear that up so that we actually know what the vacancy process is. Yeah, thank you.
Further questions, if only if they're pressing, going once, going twice. With that, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Gig'em.
All right. With that, real quick, we'll go into approval of the minutes. Are there any objections to minutes that they were sent out to you? Going once, going twice, the minutes are approved. Next up, we do have the reconsideration of the judicial court appointments. So the way this works is, and I'll explain this for everyone. First, we have to debate on one thing, and that is whether or not to reconsider them at all. That requires a majority vote. So we'll go into debate against reconsidering them at all. I'll see debate for. Then following that, we'll go into if we decide to reconsider, then it's like a new confirmation process, and we do the same thing that we did before with the 8 and then the 1. So that's the process. Starting 2.5 minutes debate against chair vote.
Scott Bowman, College of Engineering. Guys, we made a decision last week, and it was the right decision. There has been no new information in the presentation time that I had hoped to avoid because it is already 7:45, and we're supposed to be out of here by 8. In the presentation time that I had hoped to avoid, and that they weren't really even supposed to have, we've had no new information at all. I have still not seen a single section of the Constitution that allows this to happen. It was not cited in the decision. Justice Moore could not cite one. There is nothing that allows the student body president to nominate anyone for any position that doesn't take office until after he leaves office. That would be ridiculous. How can someone who's leaving office May 1st appoint someone to an office on May 2nd? There's no system of government where that makes any sense at all. This has already been decided. This is constitutional. It's our obligation to be a check on the other branches. And the judicial court, I believe, has overstepped its power. 5 of them were 5 of the justices who decided this case were applicants for the next judicial court. They were involved in this process. A 6th interviewed every single one and had his preferences in mind going in. There's no way that could be a fair decision. And if they can't create a court that does not have some sort of conflict of interest, then it shouldn't be decided by the court. It should be decided by the branch that has the check over the other 2. And that's all 3 of them, but right now it's us. It's our job to make sure that we conduct things constitutionally. The process matters, because I see a lot of people raising their hands to debate for, and that's fine, but process used to matter to them too. And I remember that. And I think it's very convenient that process is going out the window as soon as something becomes inconvenient. Guys, we were elected to do the job that is right, to make decisions that are right, not to make decisions that are easy. This isn't an easy decision, but guys, it's the right one.
30 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. State your point.
Can I ask Scott a question or ask you?
You can.
Scott there, like, to argue his side.
I'll give the opportunity if you'd like to address it.
I'll answer that. I wanted to be there. The decision was made to schedule the hearing. I asked for the hearing to be scheduled Friday afternoon so I could make it. I couldn't be there because I had work at Houston. For those of y'all who don't know, I actually am doing a co-op right now, a co-op internship at a chemical plant in Houston. So for every Senate meeting and for every weekend and for everything else that I do here at the school, I have to drive for 2 hours in order to get here. And so I couldn't make it to a hearing on Friday morning at 9 o'clock because I was at work and I couldn't leave work. I couldn't take an entire day off to do a judicial court hearing, especially when the outcome was decided before anyone even got there.
Okay. All right, that's moving back into debate, which you're welcome to do, but I'm restarting the timer. You have 30 seconds.
Oh, that was the rest of my day.
Okay, great. And we'll move to the other side. So debate for Senator Womack.
Howdy, Mark Womack. Y'all, I know it's probably not in my best interest to come up here and debate. It might make some people mad.
I kind of would prefer not to be mad at me right now because we've got our own problems. But that kind of draws into a whole different problem. Right now we've got in Student Senate left out confirmations on exec council, left out confirmations on judicial court. We've literally not confirmed every branch there is not to confirm. And it's just very frustrating as a student senator and someone who has been a student senator. I promise you I'm not just talking as the guy that's going to be EVP next year. I'm talking as a student senator. As far as the constitutionality goes, I refer you to Article 4, Section 1, subsection A. The powers of the judicial court shall extend to any case between any student and any member of the Student Government Association in regards to this Constitution, any statute, any rule or procedure enacted pursuant to this Constitution, or any rule or procedure enacted pursuant to any statute or any action or inaction authorizing the same. That's a pretty broad scope. Guys, there was a disagreement. And whether we like the decision or not, the judicial court ruled on it. There is ambiguity, there is disagreement, but it is not our place as the Student Senate to re-legislate this. We are not the judicial court. And I personally would much rather we spend our last meeting together not talking about whether or not to confirm people. I would much rather get through this and talk about whether or not these people are qualified. Because through no fault of their own, they have been hindered by a process. Processes do matter to me, but people matter to me so much more. This is a student government. This is not an organization bound by bylaws and restrictions and constant accusations of inappropriateness or character flaws or integrity issues. We have to get past that. And I really think the best thing to do, I know we don't have much time, and I know that we're under the gun, but I think the best thing to do is to vote for this, to get these people confirmed, and to just finish the Student Senate year, not talking about bylaws, but doing the right thing and fulfilling our obligation as outlined under the Constitution. Whether we would agree with the decision or not, that was the decision that was made by the Judicial Court, and the only retribution we should take is to change the Constitution or to confirm these people, and not hold this over their heads.
Motion has been made for previous question. There is a second. All in favor of previous motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
And if you didn't show the ayes, did have that. That would do division. Okay. And if you didn't, okay. All those in favor of previous question, please stand.
To go to vote. It's literally to vote on to vote. That's over right now.
Actually, it's to vote on to vote on to vote.
This is a finished debate.
Yes.
Why? Okay, all opposed, please stand. Requires 13 to abstain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, fails. With that, debate against Chairman Penn.
All right, well, howdy.
Howdy.
Okay, this is very frustrating to me. I feel like there are very, very smart individuals in this room, smarter than me. Okay, and I think that you make well-informed decisions. Okay,
And just in my opinion, just the whole concept of this, Jeff, thank you for apologizing, apology accepted, forgiven, all that. But just the concept of this, of like, I put forward something, and y'all have to vote on it, and you vote a certain way, and then I step back. God forbid I think that, maybe I'm the one who's in the wrong here. No, I can't be. So just throw it back at them. Y'all need to think about what y'all did. You need to think about what you did and reconsider how you voted. You need to reconsider. You need to sit there and think about what you did. I think that we have smart people in this room, and I have no reason to believe that you made a poor or uninformed decision before. I have no reason to believe that whatsoever. There's smart people in this room, and also this notion that we have to confirm people. God forbid that you would turn down someone for confirmation. My goodness, we got to get to work. If that were true, then clearly there is necessity somewhere for us to have 2/3 of the Senate. If it was such a big of a deal to just get people through, then we wouldn't have to confirm people. Does that make sense? So there's a reason that you take a vote in here. There's a reason that you take a vote in here. So don't be rushed by, we have to get confirmation. Or second of all, don't get into the lie of you need to sit there and think about what you did last time. Okay, you have an opportunity to redeem yourselves. Okay, come on, you made an informed decision the first time. Don't be intimidated. I yield to Senator Davis.
Senator Davis, off campus. 1 minute. I want to give everyone my interpretation of this. This to me is basically saying I have to vote a certain way because the court said so. My vote's mine, and I get to decide how to use it. If I'm being told that the thing I hold most dear is something that I don't have a choice on, that's not really democracy in my opinion. I can't reconsider this based on principle, and I would hope that you would too.
What is
point?
Who made the motion to reconsider?
That would be Chair Bowen.
And with that, I yield to Scott.
Did someone have a point?
Yeah, it was already answered.
Okay. I'll just explain that really quickly. The reason I made the motion to reconsider is because otherwise we would have had an entire 10-minute presentation with all of the justices again. And it made this entire process a lot faster to do it that way. And considering it is now 7:55, 8 o'clock, and we need to get out of here, that was necessary, and that was a good thing.
Previous question. Okay, motion's been previous question and seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Share the ayes do have it. All in favor of reconsideration of the judicial court appointments, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Also no division. All in favor, please stand. It requires a majority. You have a majority. Amanda, are you seeing? Yeah. I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
Okay, all opposed, please stand. Oh, 19. So the motion to reconsider does pass, which means we will move immediate. And Chair will advise we don't have a hard rapid 8. It's not like the governance room, so it's just up to you how long we do this. With that, we'll move into this is on confirmation of the original 8. Does everyone remember? Yep. Okay.
What
Great.
information?
Yes, Stage Point.
Can we move to make it all of them together?
That motion would be in order. You could make a motion to recombine the question.
I make a motion to recombine the entire.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. I understood from last time that because it was a motion to reconsider, it has to be reconsidered as it was.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'm sorry. Do it. So that would not be in order. I apologize. Okay, so we're going into the 8, and we'll go debate against confirming the 8. I need Chair McNutt.
Let me just start off by reading this already last time. And again, let me start off actually before that. I hope again that we're able to keep things respectful. Okay, I hope that nobody raises their voice. I hope that no one accuses you of being a bad Aggie. Okay, I hope that no one stands up and stares people down to intimidate them. Okay, I hope that we're able to just use logic and don't get mad about a difference of opinion. That being said, nobody yell at me this time. Term of the student body president shall be in accordance with the length of the term of his or her correspondence session in the student senate, but the power of appointment for the incoming session of the student senate shall accrue to the student body president for the incoming session of the student senate, immediately upon his or her election. With that, I yield to Senator Jessup.
Yep, Mark Jessup, liberal arts. Again, same thing as last time. I don't see why just because someone else thinks something is right and I don't, that we have to make a huge conflict about it. I agree. This is our vote. No one should take that away from us. Like, I think it couldn't be said better. This really is just what you think it should be, and then vote for it. It's not a matter of, are these great people, are these, how do you personally feel? Are you going to feel bad afterwards when you go to Fuego? Like, that's not what matters. What matters is just that you stick to what you think is right. Even if it's not, I said last time, me and Jeff are not in alignment on this one. I love Jeff. I'm sorry that he was mad at me for a week. That really hurts. But the thing is, this is about what we are doing in here as a Senate. This is about us representing the students. And I don't think the students would want us to get bullied and pushed around. I think the students, if you're voting for something, vote for it. Do what you think is right. Stick to it. With that, I will yield to the floor.
Okay, great. Next up, we have Senator Hutchinson. 4, yeah.
Oh, so this is like permanent for appointment.
Yes, 4 appointment.
Oh, hi guys. Howdy guys.
Howdy.
I know a lot of us are political science majors. Some of them. All right. Let's take us back to Poli-Sci 206, 207. I don't know what the first one is. Poli-Sci 101, basically, right? The job of the legislative branch is to write laws, correct? Right. The point of the judicial branch is to interpret those laws, right? Yes. That is the two jobs of the two different branches of government. And I think that's how it should work. They made a ruling. I agree with the ruling because it is their ruling. Our job in checks and balances is to appoint them. It's how it works in the United States federal government. It's how it works here at Texas A&M University. Now, I want to mention on the qualifications of your said judges, because I find them all highly qualified. I did bring up a point last week because I thought that it was important to really consider these judges because, it's important to us now here. But now, after talking to people, I think that all of them are very highly qualified. Have you looked through their applications? Because I have. Mariah Wright from Germany, you are really qualified. If you've seen her application, she is seriously a smart girl. Now, I know that Senator McNutt just said that there's a lot of smart people in this room. Guess what? They're your appointees for the judicial court. I've talked to a lot of them. I've talked to, Mariah, I know you, but you don't know me. I know Andrew. I talked to Chelsea the other day in the Allen building, and I've talked to David before, and Haley, I've talked to you before also in this room. The rest of the people, I haven't got the chance to talk to you, but I believe that Jeff and Ben made the right decision. I trust their decision, and so I urge you to affirm these judges. Thanks, and I yield to Mark Ballman.
I'm just glad you wore that dress. I'm going to ask about that later. But don't take it like that. Okay, but no, I just am glad finally, after all this time, somebody referenced the qualifications of the people we're actually talking about. That's all I wanted. I mean, and I agree, this is your vote, but the vote is not to decide. I don't think we have a right to vote on the interpretations. I don't care. If you are so committed to your interpretation of this dang bylaw, then go ahead and vote them down. If you honestly can look at yourself in the mirror and you say this bylaw matters to me, you vote against him. But if that is not something that you wake up thinking about, if what you care about is individual people, these people are hands down qualified. So if you care about that, then I think you should vote for these people. With that, I call the previous question.
Motion to make previous question. Second, all in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Against, the nays had that. We'll go into debate against Senator Strickle.
Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
Again, just like last week, I just don't think this is right. I agree with what's been said before. This is your vote, and we shouldn't be bullied into voting the way that people want us to vote. Every single time that a confirmation has come up that we haven't passed, that we haven't confirmed these people, they've come back at us and scorned, just yelled at us for what we've done. This isn't the first time. Whenever we didn't approve of the appointment for the architecture committee, we got yelled at that time. Every other time this has happened. But guess what? We actually have approved some people. So that shows that we're doing our job because we are actually looking at the process. We're looking at the people. We're saying we should approve some people, but we shouldn't just approve everyone that comes in front of us. We should actually use discretion. And again, it has nothing to do with the people, as I said last week. I would love for them all to apply again next year when it's legal for them to be appointed. I have no problem with that. They may all be extremely qualified. I'm sure they're more qualified than I ever would be. But there's a process, and anyways, I think we need to follow it. I'll yield to Chair Harris.
All right, howdy guys. Howdy. I said howdy.
Howdy!
Thank you. So, Senator Womack, you brought up a good point. You said, are you really that worried about the bylaws? And the answer is that yes, I am worried about the bylaws because we are appointing the court that is going to interpret those bylaws, and we hope that they interpret that correctly. My concern with this is I've been in student government a long time, and I've never in my life seen something like this. This has never happened before in student government. One person who is graduating is appointing an entire branch of government permanently. And that has never happened. It has happened in the past where he's appointed, the judicial court just be appointed in a different way, and that was temporary. But never a permanent, an entire branch of government is being appointed by one person who is graduating, and they are being appointed permanently. They will stay until they resign or until they graduate. And I yield to the floor.
Okay, with that, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What's up?
Jeff, graduating? I don't know.
Yes. No, he's not. I apologize. He's graduating in December.
My apologies, Jeff.
Jeff will graduate, but not. Motion has been made for previous questions. It's been seconded. All in favor of previous questions, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Committee of the chair, the ayes did have that. So we'll take. This is a. Oh, do we have ballots?
No. Motion to do a voice vote.
Okay.
Sorry. Me and Drew.
Well, can we do this? Let's do this. For expediency's sake, we'll pass out the ballots, and we'll go ahead and move on into the next question while y'all are doing that. So just vote quietly, and then we'll collect them quietly. A roll call vote. Scott.
It's not in order. It has to be balanced.
Okay, it has to be balanced.
For your information, what's the next thing you said we're moving on to?
The next thing is we did the 8, the next is the 1. So
we need 3 things on it. We need your name, we need the race, and we need yes or no.
I'm sorry.
No, bylaw has never been suspended. No bylaw.
I can suspend bylaws.
Vote off.
What do we do?
Race. Caucasian.
Race.
Take about 10 seconds to wrap up. You still got your ballot.
Yeah, what is the race of the candidates in Caucasian?
Okay, if you have a race ballot, just scratch it. Just make it really obvious that write 4 on there somewhere. Or I'm sorry.
Yes or no.
Or against on there somewhere.
You can also abstain.
Or abstain. And write judicial court 8. Do something to make it all.
This is maybe just the stupidest. No, that's saying part of it.
Alright, we got to all count. I'll count down from 5, and then we're going to go back in. Yeah, get them in. We're going to keep going in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, we're going to back in, get them in quietly. we're going to go into argument on the one member that we separated last time. So with that, I'll see debate against Chair Bowen.
You need your ballot put in.
Okay, same thing as before. I don't want to see us. Just promise me one thing. Just however you vote, vote the way you voted on the other 8. Yeah. Because if you were for, vote for. If you voted against, vote against. Because I really do not want to see a situation where we only have one justice. That would be a disaster. And honestly, I don't think there were a lot of things brought up last time, and I feel like he is about his record, and I feel like he has successfully addressed those. I still have problems with the process, obviously. I still don't want him to be confirmed or anyone to be confirmed. But at the same time, I don't think there's anything any longer that sets him apart from the other 8. So if you were for, vote for. If you were against, vote against. And is there anyone who wants to be yielded to? Chair Harris.
All right, so basically, what Scott said is completely true. We wanted to combine these back, we couldn't. So just vote the same way that you voted. If you voted for the 8, then I want you to vote for the 1. Does that make sense? And so basically the reason for that is because Senate does not need to appoint the Chief Justice. That would be all kinds of weird and crazy. And so if we only give John one person, because John will appoint the Chief Justice, then he only has one person to pick from, and that would be really awkward, and we don't want to try to tell John, how to do this. And so I yield to the floor.
Okay. Debate 4, Senator Murkowski.
I was for all of them, and I agree for consistency. We don't want to put this stuff in limbo. But one thing about this particular point of personal preference. Can you turn the microphone on? Can you hear me now?
No, mic is on. The microphone?
Sorry, I'm like really hoarse this week. I'm getting sick. But there's just one thing about why this question was split that really concerned me. And that was the first thing that I would learn about being an Aggie was that we take each other at our word. And that we're honest and truthful or something. And when somebody tells you that, he did certain things because he had a misconception about it, then you believe him. And I mean, that's a big part of being a fighting Texas Aggie is we're honest and we take each other at our word. And I just don't like a lot of the stuff that's going around about questioning people's motives. I mean, on any side of the issues. I mean, there's nobody here that had bad motives, and that really just needs to be run out. And that's all I've done.
Okay, I only want to speak to the people in the room who are okay with the process. And if you're okay with the process and you are making a decision on whether or not Senator Quesada is qualified or not to do this. I don't know these other justices personally very well. I know Andrew I'd say very well. And I'll say this, he has less absences than I do. And nobody has ever complained about my absences, and I'm just fine, okay? And in addition to that, so again, if you're okay with the process, okay, and you're debating on someone's character or not, I will speak to Andrew's character, okay? And I think it is fantastic. Now again, if you're against the process, it's your own deal, okay? But in regard to Andrew personally, how much time, please?
A minute.
In regard to Andrew's character personally, don't, how do I put this? Don't let that get in your way. And I know that debate came out against his character, and that bothered me a lot. And especially, it kind of seemed like the take the speck out of your own eye before removing the point out the speck. The point is, anyway, I'm not going to be fooled again. The point is, don't be so self-righteous. Okay, we all have our issues. I have more absences than Andrew does, and Andrew's absences are not an issue. Mine are not an issue. Okay, so don't let that get in your way. So again, if you've got issues with the process, fine. You have issues with the process. But if you don't, and you're legitimately talking about whether to confirm somebody based on their character, I think you do a fantastic job. So whether it is now or in the 65th, which nobody has a problem confirming people in the 65th. Okay, if it's this time or if it's next time, when it's legal, and confirm that kid, because he's doing very, very well for himself, especially for his age. With that, I yield to the floor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Point of information. What was the results? Before I vote, I really want to know the results.
Do we have the results? Okay, the result is 20 votes to 18 votes, so that confirmation failed on the 8th. Okay, with that. that,
Did a pipe break over there?
motion for previous question was made, it's been seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll take previous question. So you hopefully you have ballots. Raise your hand if you need one. And get those in. This is the other appointment. And we'll reveal the result of this vote.
Evan Lane. Yeah. I thought a pipe broke.
Or, excuse me, yeah. What?
Oh, I need to get a ballot. Hey, Drew, do you have any blank ballots? Oh, no, I see one here. I have one.
I have extra ballots.
All right, Senate, line 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep getting them in quietly. Thank you. We'll move into consent resolutions really briefly. And are there any objections to the placement of any consent resolutions on the consent agenda? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, the consent agenda is passed. We'll move into the veto presentation and override consideration.
Evan, leave.
Okay, motion has been made to give SGA advisor Amy Lloyd speaking privileges.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? If you didn't share, the ayes have it. What was that?
Amy Lloyd speaking privileges.
Please Senate stay in order and give the student body president your respect for his veto presentation.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, well, howdy. I'll tell you, I vetoed the grade appeals policy bill because it would just simply be a waste of ink in the code because currently, Student Government Association falls under student activities rules and regulations. It's like we are a state that falls under a larger union. So as long as we are under there, our grade policies, our grade appeal policies must fall in line with student activities appeals policies. It doesn't have to be exact, but it does have to meet their minimum qualifications, of which our grade appeals bill did not meet. That minimum qualification is that there is an advisor, staff person present and voting. And in fact, student activities, and I'll let our advisor Amy speak on this more, I believe, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, according to what I've been told, that student activities does not require that students are involved in appeals. Yet SGA, I know, absolutely, but SGA has always operated that way. There are always more students than there are staff members on our appeals, so that's the only reason I vetoed it, because I think it should reflect exactly. It should reflect what is legal. Does that make sense? If student government was its own department under student affairs, then we wouldn't fall under student activities. But we do, so it would have been a waste of space in the code. It wouldn't have mattered. So with that, I'll yield to Amy to touch on anything else within the appeals policy as far as it relates to student activities and having an advisor present. Like I said, I think there do need to be more students and staff members in appeals. Believe me on that, but an advisor is required by student activities, and I'll let her sort of touch on why that it is required.
Really fast, I just want to put something out there for my own personal, personal reference, correctness, all that good kind of talk, is that by no means, I'm going to give you information, I am not influencing your vote one way or another. You vote for this veto however you feel. Nothing I said, I'm not part of that. But on the informational standpoint, it's not a student activities rule, it's a university. It has to do with FERPA. Have you heard a little bit about FERPA and confidentiality and all that good stuff? There, just a couple statements, I'm not going to go into it all. But in the standard administrative procedure, all kinds of important university rules, it says the university will not permit access to or release of personally identifiable information except to 1. University officials, faculty, and staff for legitimate educational interests. Now it goes down into A, B, C, all different things, where we have a way to put students in contact with that information, but it's under our supervision, it even uses the word control, which I don't really like that word, but just using it in here, what it says, and our purview. So meaning, the bottom line is this. In terms of confidential information, which is GPRs, which are also appealed, there are situations that come up in the appeals that are extremely confidential. All kinds of things. Think of your deepest, darkest secret and sometimes times that by 5,000. That's what sometimes the appeals come up with. So it is one of those things that's extremely confidential, and the bottom line is, if staff and the university as a whole take responsibility for your decisions, we can't do that if we don't have any part in this process, meaning voting and the potential to take your considerations and override them if necessary. Because if it comes to a legal situation where we get sued. You guys cannot. So that's why this, for that. So that's why this process can never be completely surrendered to students. But I will say that they're absolutely an integral part of this. That's never ever going to go away. The way that student government has been working is 4 students and 1 staff member. Student activities works with 4 staff members, 1 student. So it's very important to us to have that student voice, and that will not change. There's other ways we can do it, which I'm extremely open to. Fish Camp does a totally different way we can talk about. So yeah, the bottom line is there's definitely changes we can make, things we can do. Please come talk to me. I'm definitely happy to explain more and fix things however you want to fix them. Just the only difference is we have to keep staff presence in there in some way, shape, or form in terms of voting and having possible, like I said, I don't like to use the word override because I've never overridden a decision in the time that I've been here, but possible consistency in different things with the overall decision. So yeah.
So like she said, student activities 4 and 1, 4 staff, 1 student. Student government currently 1 staff, 4 students. That is totally the way that I believe it should go. So with that, I did veto it. I hope it's upheld, but I don't just want it to be upheld and then we still don't have it outlined in the code. I think it does still need to be outlined in the code. So with the same way that the amendment I brought to you to clear up the Constitution, I hope that senators in the 65th take that and run with it. The same can be said for the appeals process. I hope somebody in the 65th session clears this up. 1 advisor, 4 students, makes it legal and right, and with students mainly in there, but in the correct way. So with that, that's the end of my presentation. We'll go to any questions.
Okay, great. We have just a couple. Let's rock it through these folks. Senator Heath. Withdrawn. Senator or Chair Bowman.
Scott Bowen, Public Engineering. With your permission, can I actually ask a few questions of our advisor?
Yeah.
And if you can answer me / promise some of these things, I think it would clear things up for the immediate future very quickly and resolve this painlessly. So by this summer, when it will actually happen, can there be a process written down that involves students, is sent to the people who appeal in an email, and it appears on the website? Absolutely.
Okay. With that, Senator Woolsey.
Chris Woolsey, Northside. So just to clarify this you vetoed this because this would be an SGA policy that was inconsistent with the student activities policy. Is that right?
With student activities and university, I thought it was just at a student activities level, but it's actually a university policy, which is actually a FERPA policy, which is a federal government privacy issue. The examples that I know of from appeals, definitely students need to be, FERPA needs to be followed, and we have to have an advisor for that to follow because FERPA doesn't fall under us.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I vetoed it. Okay. So if we clear it up, the appeals process is great.
Senator Mantry? Okay, withdrawn. Senator Fleck?
Nope, that was debate 4. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none, shall we close question and answer? We're not in debate yet because we have to have the bill presentation, which we'll do very quickly. So, who was the bill author? Scott, was that you?
I think I was one of them. Yes.
Okay, well, so if somebody wants to speak on it, or you can just close the presentation.
I'll say a few words really quickly. Basically, what this bill does is it sets forth a process in the SGA code for appeals. So if you're deficient in grades or for whatever reason, the process is there for you to be able to see and read and know that it was voted on by students. Our advisor, Amy Lloyd, has promised that there will be a process in writing for this summer at least until we can work together and hash out a completely legal one. That it will be in writing on the website, sent out to everyone who has an appeal to just make sure they know, and it will involve students. So that's basically all I was looking for here. And so with that, I don't know if it's out of order for me to encourage people to vote a certain way, but I am no longer, I no longer feel that I have a stake in this bill. So
Okay.
that is my presentation.
Does anybody have any questions for the person who has no stake in the bill? Close that up. Going once, going twice, seeing none, close question and answer. We'll move into a period of debate on the bill. First, we will see debate against the Great Appeals Policy Act, Missouri. Pretend like this is the first time you're seeing the bill. You know that it's been vetoed, but you're debating the same way as if you were debating for it the first time. Is there any debate against this bill as it's presented? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, I see no debate, so chair deems debate one-sided. That closes question and answer, or that closes debate. We'll take a vote. The chair will advise possibly a roll call might be the quickest way to do this. Is there a motion? Motion for a roll call vote. The second, is there one? Yeah, that's a 1/6. Okay, great. So we'll take a quick roll call vote. Yeah, so she'll call out your name, say for if you want the bill to override his veto and pass, say against if you want to uphold the veto.
Myself against, Bowen,
Against.
Smith,
Against.
Barber,
Against.
Ninecker, against, McNutt, Harris, Hauser,
Against.
Baldwin,
Against.
Thornburg, Lastavica, Riley,
Against.
Robertson, Brown, Miller,
Against.
Young, Kincaid, Tim, Canoe,
Against.
Landry, Mont, Chen,
Against.
Hutchison, Rosado, Pittman, Melendez, Morgendijk, Altendorf, Kingsbury, Jessup,
Against.
King, Kelly, Hernandez, Sosa,
Against.
Hernandez,
Against.
Woolsey,
Against.
Struble, sorry, this is an old roll sheet, so we're kind of working with things. If I skip, you just come up to me afterwards. Castleja, Sirius, Esparza, Heath, Leslie,
Oh, stay.
Boston, Luce, Murat, Davis, Robert, Shutt, Van Dyne,
Against.
Womack, Henneman, Adams. Okay, if I missed you, just come up to me afterwards.
Okay, clearly fails. Or
Yeah, I'm getting
oh, okay, there was a okay. So the override definitely fails. Listening to that, but we'll move on into announcements. Any brief announcements? I have a quick one. If anybody wants to see my last percussion studio show, it's this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. in Rudder Auditorium. I can get you tickets. Anybody else have any quick brief announcements? Going once, going twice. Okay, seeing none, we'll close announcements. We'll move brief. We'll do this really fast. Committee reports and transitions. If any of the chairs have any awards they would like to give out, or they have a gift or anything they would like to do, let's do that very briefly. So I'll just let you come up and form a line if you want to do it that way. Let's go quickly.
Okay. My successor is not in here, but if I could give him a gift, I don't have one prepared, so I will give him the gift of being Rules and Regulations Chair. congratulations to him on that. It's been a great year. I didn't expect to have this position at the beginning, and it's just been an absolute blessing working with every single one of you, and I look forward to what we can accomplish in the upcoming year as well. So, thanks and gig 'em.
Gig 'em! Real quick, Chair Price, if you'd come up here for me, sir. Debating the gift that I wanted to get you, and I came up with this lovely, it's a La Flor Dominicana. It's not the most expensive cigar, but I don't want you to ignore, be patient. Don't ignore the, okay, fine. Don't ignore the value that smoking a cigar with Just Fields can have in the upcoming year, because enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, is Chair Lucen here? No. Okay, well, I'll say that for him. Okay, I have two committee members of the year, Andrew J. Carrick and Nicole Heath. Andrew's not here, but Nicole, I have a rose for you. If you'd like to pick a nicer one out of the pile I have over there, you may. But it's been a wonderful year working with each and every one of you, and I hope you have a great summer. And if you're in 65th, I will see you.
Chair Mandry, can you come up here real quick? All right. Tyler Mandry is going to be my successor next year, and this is the AA Bible. It has all of the legislation we've worked on and have worked on in the past. I went ahead and cleaned it out for him so he can fill it up with more legislation next year. Use it well and fill it with some good stuff.
Thank you very much.
And I had one community member that was really outstanding amongst all my other community members. I love y'all so much. We got a lot of bills passed out that were really meaningful, but one person that really put his pen to the paper and wrote a lot of good bills was Kevin Markowski. We tackled the Aggie Union, we tackled academic probation bills, and it was all thanks to him. So Kevin, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Yes, I'm lost. If you want to come up to the condo. Well, my committee member of the year is not here, so I guess I'm going to keep that gift. But I haven't checked for a penny, because if you go over a penny, there you go, and give it back to the students. And have fun with my gift.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we're going to have our parting words with executive boards. So Jeff, do you have parting words? We'll give it.
Well, for the final time, howdy. Howdy! We got an email today. I say we. I'm no longer really checking the SVP email. I've turned that over. So an email came into svp@tmu.edu and to my special advisor, Robert Scoggins. And it was our monthly report of where we are with the Sol Ross Penny collection. And that's one thing that I want to highlight as my parting words. But first, I will say two things that I want to wrap up as kind of our final few minutes together. And that is that we disagreed on Joe Rout, and we disagreed on this, and we didn't. And then I'll go one where we were totally unified, because I think there are great pictures of how SGA should work, Senate, SVP, exec, really debating on campus issues. First, it was Joe Rout. We debated on that and went back and forth. What should happen with this street out here? And when I look and see, it's not quite open yet, but that's because we're extending the beautiful paved plaza this way. So I know it's a little bit more, construction. But because we debated that here, and because we got to a compromise of originally, some people wanted it to be open both ways, total access. Other people wanted it to be a plaza, and because we in this room debated to the, actually that's not true, no students really wanted it to be a plaza, so I'll just throw that one out. Other students wanted it to be one way. Because we came and debated that, we were able to go into a meeting, and we didn't get exactly what we wanted, but we do have an open street. And I can tell you from sitting at the meeting, Tanner was in that meeting as well, there were people that wanted it to be a plaza. And so when you jump on a bus for the inner loop and you pass in front of the MSC, that's the power of Student Government Association. And that's what we did this year. That's one of many things we did this year, but I think that is a great example of fierce debate about on-campus issues, about things that really serve students beyond the walls of Coldis. And that's something that we did. Then a unifying thing was Kyle Field. When it got brought up that SEC had some regulations on our student section, I'll never forget that piece of legislation that we passed, and literally, I want to say it was like size 2 font that had every single senator's name as a sponsor to that bill. That was huge. And because of that, we were able to go into a meeting, and yes, the Aggie band is moving over 2 sections, but our total amount of seats in the student section rose to 36.4% of Kyle Field is a student section. I don't think that would happen unless we would have gone in there with that firm student opinion. So, when the SEC comes and looks at Texas A&M and sees that we are the largest student section in the nation, I think that you can think about your work in the Student Government Association this year, and you and I can be very, very proud of that. And then third, I'll end with what I started out with, which is the Sul Ross Penny Act, because that was a really simple thing. That was something that maybe there wasn't a ton of debate on, but it's one of those cool powers that is vested in the Student Government Association, for the student body president to appoint and for student senate to confirm. And that is which charity or social justice group gets the pennies from Sul Ross. And it was decided that a group that is called the Give Me 5 program, which is a group of students. Actually, I didn't know this when we appointed them, but they had literally just become an organization a month before. A group of students that donate money and raise money to donate to a school called Northrise University in Zambia. And the Give Me 5 program says that for every $5 that they donate, that university, because it is an agriculture school, they are able to provide 1 meal for 1 Zambian college student for an entire week with $5. So with that, we got the most updated numbers, which is so far since they began their collections when I appointed them and you confirmed them, they have collected $101.51 from Sul Ross. That's a lot of college students in another college across the globe that have a meal. And because they have a meal in the developing world, and then it's really close to my heart, if they have a meal at school, then there's a much greater chance that they're actually going to go to school. And so because of that, there are more students that are getting the privilege of a college education because we're sending the pennies on Sul Ross to Zambia. And that's something that you and I, as the leaders of the Student Government Association, can walk away from this year and be very proud of, that we are selflessly serving and making a difference, both here, Joe Rout, Kyle Field, and across the world with the Sul Ross pennies, paying for college students' meals in Zambia. And that 101 does not come into account finals, which I'm assuming that there will be a whole lot more come finals, which is awesome. So with that, it's been, in a lot of ways, to be candid, it's been a very frustrating year working with you. I'm going to be honest about that. But it's been a good year, and government should be frustrating. As my parting advice, I hope that that frustration is put in proper context and proper processes. I don't think we always got that this year. And I'm speaking to you, I don't think you always got it, and I don't think I always got it. And I certainly didn't always lead my cabinet in that way. So I hope that next year we're able to take those frustrating debates and put them in their proper place and in their proper process and proper context. So with that, final time, thanks and giggle.
Before the judicial court, real quick, 5 seconds. Chair Harris.
Howdy. I apologize for not being in the room earlier. Basically, I believe there's 2 things that each chair is supposed to, if I remember this right, each chair is supposed to recognize 2 people. The first is the committee member of the year. The rubric that I use for that is who reached out to constituents using the approved point system that we had the most, and that senator was Annabelle also worked a lot with the the donut shop thing. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you getting the points done. You had the last time I checked, she had 26 points of the 12-point system. So job well done. And I'm sorry I don't have anything that I usually do. The final person that I guess each chair is supposed to recognize is their replacement. Cody, we have here the constituents bow tie. So, passed CA Chair Greg McDuffie. So always utilize those when you need any advice. And I look forward to seeing how good of a job I do this year. Finally, just in closing, is my final report. Sometimes, guys, I failed the Senate a lot. I failed internal affairs a lot. That I apologize for y'all. I did not always have my reports turned in. Not always had my the stuff that I was supposed to do. And I do apologize for that. However, I do think that there was a lot of good done in CA. I believe we got rid of a defunct program, and I believe we put one in that allows all senators to reach out to their constituents. And so that's something that I'm very proud of this year. And it did sunset, that we didn't get that sunset clause out of there. And I promise you that I will come back in the 65th with Chair Miller, and we're going to get this, we're going to get the point system put back in there, and we're going to fix any problems that we had previously. So with that, thanks again.
As a quick tidbit, I know someone a couple of years ago won Senator of the Year and Constituency Affairs Committee Member of the Year. That guy's standing up here right now, so I feel it's an affection right now. With that, the Judicial Court.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm not trying to bully y'all. That wasn't my intention. So if it came off as me trying to bully you into submission, I apologize. I feel like that wasn't the case, but again, just in case, that's how it felt. You know, we had this was a big year for Judicial Court. It wasn't easy. I mean, it was what it was. I appreciate getting to know most of you. It's been some of you, okay, but most of you, big fans of. But I just want to leave you with, this is advice for people who are moving into the 65th, maybe just in life in general. When you have a problem with a particular candidate, a particular person, confront them directly about it. Do not go around and not say things they leave the room. If you are too scared to confront someone about these problems, you shouldn't bring it up in the first place, because frankly, you just don't have it right. And with that, I wish you all the best. Thanks.
Member of the Year, is that right? Yeah. So, congratulations. With that, Speaker Pro Tem Hathaway.
Hi, everyone.
Howdy.
I just want to take this time to say thank you for everyone. I know I often was the person that sent mean emails reminding you to do all the little things that tend to go, unnoticed, but I appreciate all of the friendships I've formed here, and I look forward to seeing Mariana take on the Speaker Pro Tem job. I want everyone to give her a round of applause because Speaker Pro Tem is often underappreciated, so let's just So, thank you very much, guys.
Okay, howdy. Howdy. So we're really short on time, so I'll make it really fast. First, I just want to say I owe a huge debt of gratitude both to Sarah and Amanda. They did more for me this year than any of you will ever know. So really thank both of you. And thank all of you. It's been an incredible year. I would wax poetic, but we're really short on time, so I will just say thank you sincerely, each one of you. It's been quite an experience. I'm very ready to move on, but it's been quite an experience. And with that, it's tradition that the speaker gets a gift for the next speaker, and traditionally that's a gavel. But something that a lot of you may not know, Scott and I share something. We're both baptized and confirmed Lutherans, which is a very exclusive club. So with that, so I don't know if any of you have noticed this year, next to my speaker's podium, I always have these books stacked in this order. And these are my governing documents. Bible's on top, Robert's Rules is underneath, and then a Robert's Rules and Brief is there just in case I need it. This is my governing document. And I know that as a baptized and confirmed Lutheran, Scott and I share that. I'm sure most of us in this room probably share that, but something kind of special. So for Scott, I have his governing document right here, and it's got a little bit of wisdom inscribed in the front cover, or I hope it's wise, I don't know. But so anyways, with that, Scott, if you could come up here, best of luck next year. about to bang the gavel for the last time. Where's Robert Scoggins? Is it September 10th, 2008? End of an era. I've been in this body since September 10th of 2008, and that's a run, and it's been a blast. So thank everyone. And do we have any closing roll we need to sort out?
I have a couple of people super quickly. Pittman, Altendorf, Kelly, Hernandez, Lawson,
Howdy.
Robert, and Womack.
Okay, well, with that, for the final time, this meeting of the 64th session is adjourned.
Spring break! You were only for a thing, but hopefully this will be of help in the next session.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Look through it. It's all Clark's notes from a lot of notes from when he went to the Capitol for lobbying and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to the bathroom.
It's cool. Oh, okay, it's cool. But
it
yeah.
was awkward. Like, is Austin Lewis here?
I was like, is Chair Lewis here? He was like, no. I'm like, okay, well, but it's all Clark's notes from when he did go lobbying to the legislature and stuff like that. And I think it has like policy briefing and research and stuff. So there you go.
Do you have like a crash course document where it's like, here's what you do, or is it just kind of like...
I do have a document. I'm not...
Or is it more like follow your heart?
It's more like follow your heart, but I do have a document.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Thank you, Catherine.
We'll see if they
You got these HGRs over here
You can sit in on this one?
Who's there? Matt G. We'll just put him right. Just put him here. There. Do you have that? But I'm just putting them. Okay, I'm gonna put. Oh.
If I could say it, if I could say
do that to me.
Okay, sure.
She sits up there. Well, that's her old placard, so that's
Down.
I think